was saying that success leaves clues and so does failure. And it really struck me because as actors, we're struggling to get where we want to go. We don't get there. We are constantly sabotaging ourselves. So this morning I came up with 10 clues of why you are failing. And then we're going to talk about the success clues, okay? So I want you to get ready, get a piece of paper, or start writing this down so it can help you in your career. The first clue why you are failing in your career and you're not booking work is that you only show up when you are inspired, and you rely on motivation instead of discipline. You got to remember, or maybe you don't know this, but without consistency, nothing else matters. If you're not consistent, you are not going to win the race. People who run marathons are consistently running and training and doing what they need to do in order to win, in order to get to the finish line. So, number one is your efforts are inconsistent. Number two, you don't have a daily action plan. You fly blind. You are just wandering. You have no short-term goals, no long-term strategies. You're just hoping it happens. You can't hit a target if you don't aim at it. You're not going to get what you want if you don't set the course. You got to be intentional. So if you don't have a daily action plan, you are not going to win. Number three, and this is a biggie. There are a couple that are really real big, and this is one of them. Number three is negative self-talk. You talk negatively to yourself. That inner critic in your head is your loudest voice. It has no belief. There's no momentum. Your mindset is trash. You are talking yourself out of your career. You know, everything in your mind is negative. So your mouth, everything that comes out of your mouth is negative. You know, you're always seeing doom and gloom. Oh, they're not going to cast me for this. Oh, I'm not going to get this. Oh, the agent is going to want me. That negativity you're putting out into the world, and it's coming back at you. You know, you gotta not say those negative words. You gotta speak well of yourself. Number four, another way you sabotage yourself as an actor and why you don't book is because you're neglecting your craft. You have stopped learning, or you don't feel like you have to learn. I know this. You're not learning new monologues. You're not working on new scenes. Your acting is stale. You're not working on your co-readings. You are not working on your craft enough. Maybe you do it once every 6 months. Maybe you pick up a script every now and then, but you're not being on top of your game. So that's another way you self-sabotage. Number five, this is a good one. You blame the industry for everything. You're constantly saying it's all about luck. I don't have any luck. It's who you know. They don't want somebody like me. There's all these excuses that you are saying, blaming the industry for why you are not working. There's not enough jobs out there. Do you know this is a time when there's so many channels? They need material all the time. All these streaming services, the networks, the cable, YouTube. I mean, there's just a plethora of places for you to be working at. I feel like I could stop here, but I won't. Number six. This is the doozy. This is the one we give the star to. You are waiting to be discovered. You're waiting for somebody to see your talent, and you don't, you're waiting for that agent to send you up on that job. Meanwhile, you never call the agent, you don't check in on the agent doesn't know who you are. They signed you and then they put you on a shelf. You are not being proactive. You're just waiting. Well, I'm a talented actor. I'm gonna, somebody's gonna discover me. No, that does no. You get discovered because you are doing your work. You're at the right place at the right time, and the right people see you. But you gotta position yourself to be discovered. You can't be in your home, in your pajamas, binging on Netflix, and then thinking, I'm gonna get discovered. Somebody's gonna knock on my door and say, Lydia, we want you. It's not gonna work like that. Number 7 is, and this one I don't understand, but number 7 is the fear of visibility. You resist self promotion out of fear that people are gonna judge you. Who cares if they judge you? They're not paying your rent, they're not paying your bills, they're not giving money to you to put in your pocket. So you got to put yourself out there. You got to stop with the fear of judgment. That is another way we self-sabotage. We get paralyzed because we think, oh my God, people are going to say things about me. So what? They say things about everybody. Number 8, your materials are not updated. I say this all the time. You have to update your materials. Your materials are not updated. You don't have proper headshots. Your reel is not together. You don't even have a reel. Your resume is a hot mess, and you're just not ready. Your materials are not ready for you to be in prime time. Number 9, and almost every actor falls prey to this. We get into this toxic comparison. We focus on other people booking and their development and what they're doing instead of working on what we need to be doing. You can only think one thing at a time. So stop giving your thoughts to something that does not empower you, does not help you, does not grow you. Number 10, you are disorganized and scattered. You miss auditions, you forget your lines, you show up unprepared, you're burning bridges fast, you're sloppy, and you become uncastable. It's that lateness. You're showing up late to things. You're always showing up late. A dollar, what is it? A dollar short and an hour late, I think is what they say. But this all can change. You can change all of these 10 things that I just shared with you. You, my friend, you, my superstar, you can change this. Let's start with how you can change it. Number 1 is be consistent in your training. You should always be in a class. You should always either be in a scene study class, an improv, taking voice lessons, dialects, doing Alexander technique. You should be sharpening your tools, whether you're booked or not. You should be taking a class in how to do a great self-tape. We all as actors need to know how to be little mini filmmakers. That's part of our job now. Whether we like it or not, we have to know how to set up the camera, set up a light, have to, be ready, have a little space that we use. So consistent training is a clue to success as an actor, and it will start to get you booked if you are doing these steps that I am giving you now. Number 2 is professional branding. In order to be a successful actor, people have to know what it is that you sell. Your headshots have to match what they're submitting you for. So if I just met with a client yesterday, and he showed me his headshot. Young guy, Young guy, just he's bald, so he's got some issues with that, but good looking young guy. And I saw his headshots, and he looks like he's in his 40s, and that is not how he presents. And so we had a talk about him changing his branding. First of all, he didn't understand what that meant. So let me share with you what branding is. Branding is you when you go to a supermarket, right? You are selling up. You are going to buy a product. So let's say you're going for ketchup. There's all types of ketchups on the shelf, but you are looking for specific ketchup. Maybe you grew up with Heinz, maybe you grew up with Hunt's, maybe you grew up with a fashion designer ketchup. All of those are brands. They're all ketchup, but they are all different, unique brands. And they might even taste similar, but each of them are packaged differently. So we're all actors, right? We're all actors, but we are each packaged differently. So the one of the problems that most actors have, especially young actors, you know, you've been doing it maybe 3 or 4 years. You feel like I can do this part, I can do this part. Yeah, maybe you can do those parts, but in Hollywood, you're going to get cast for specific things. Until people start to know who you are, you want to put yourself in one category so they can find you. And then from that, you can go into another category and another category. But start branding yourself. Not just type. Type is you're the next door neighbor. You play the next door neighbor. You play the criminal. You play the doctor with a heart of gold. You play a lawyer who never loses a case. Those are types. But what is it about that lawyer that stands out? Well, that lawyer, he's good to some and mean to others, and he has a tick. He's always with a tick. Well, that's a specific lawyer. Now the more specific we can be, the more defined that lawyer is. Branding is the same way. The more specific you can be in what you sell, the more people are going to want what you sell. I studied with Roy London for 9 years, and he would always say to the class, stop trying to be the salad. Just pick a vegetable and be that vegetable. And that is branding. You know, it is, if you pick that vegetable, look at Brad Pitt, look at Viola Davis, look at Morgan Freeman. They are very specific in what they sell. Michael B. Jordan, Tom Hanks, they are very specific in what they sell. And looking at Tom Hanks, as he is getting older, he's now looking at reestablishing his brand in a different way. He's like, he was in the Elvis movie playing the Colonel. He's trying to figure out, okay, where do I fit now? And that is a real concern for actors. You know, you find your brand, you do your brand, but then as you get older, then you got to shift out of what you were selling and figure out, okay, what am I going to sell now? You see this with a lot of kid actors. They are very specific, and then as they get older, they don't quite know where they fit, and so a lot of them stop working because they haven't shifted in what it is that they're selling. They still think they're that kid, and the studios, the casting people, they're not buying it. So the more specific you can be in what it is that you sell, what makes you unique as an actor. There are a lot of actors, but what is it that separates you from the other 900 Latin actors, or the other 9,900 black actors, or the million white actors that are out there? What is it that separates you from them? You know, and how do you work on that and put that in how you take your pictures? So if you present young, don't take a picture where you look like you could be somebody's father. If you really, when I meet you in person, you look like a college student. So you want to be very specific with your brand. That is a clue of the successful actor. They know their brand. Number three, you got to show up on time every time. Reliability is not an option. It's one of the most important things in this business is to show up on time every time, because when you are late, especially if you are on a production and you show up late, you're costing that production money, and they're not going to hire you again. You know, when they do these productions, it's a big budget, and they've allocated every day with certain scenes to shoot. And if that actor is not there, oh, it can be a lot of headache. It sets the production back. It costs them extra money that they weren't anticipating. And if they're on a tight budget, they might replace you. They might go get that other actor. This one is out because we don't know if they're going to show up again. So showing up on time every time is important, and that's what successful actors do. They show up on time. Number four, we're going back to branding a little bit, but number four is that the successful actors know their type and their range, and they can be identified by what roles they're perfect for. Not that they don't stretch, they'll get to stretch, but that they're known for a certain type. You'll never see Denzel Washington playing a victim. That is not his type. That's not what he does. You will never see who else can I talk about? You'll never see Brad Pitt be the ugly guy. That's not his type. We go see Brad Pitt because he's a good-looking guy. You know, and knowing your range. Vin Diesel, who is extraordinary on certain, on a lot of levels. I mean, he has really done some great stuff. But he did a movie with Sidney Lumet, and he stunk up the movie. He was horrible. He was out of his league. He did not, for whatever reason, just did not have the range to pull that character off that he was doing. He was doing a caricature. We don't want to pay to go see a caricature. When we go to a movie, we want to pay to see somebody really be in process. So you got to know what your type is. You got to know what your range is. And thank God Vin Diesel has never done that again. He sticks to Fast and Furious or types that are according to what he can do. And it's not that you can't stretch and grow, but in your stretching, it still has to fit you. Think about wearing an outfit. You got to make sure the outfit fits. That's why you go to a tailor. So as an actor, you want to make sure the role fits. So you get coached on. You get someone to work with you. Maybe you get 3 different coaches. One who will work with you on voice. One will work with you on body language. One will work with you on the depth of the character. So that when you do that character, it fits you. Number 5, resilience through rejection. Successful actors can brush off the rejection. They don't internalize every no because they know there's something else down the road. There's something else. So they're focused on them getting down the road. They are not caught up in, oh my God, they didn't like me. I didn't get the part. No, they are running their race. They're continuing. It doesn't mean they don't trip, but they get back up and they keep going. And a successful actor, it's not that they don't feel the rejection, it's they don't stay in the rejection. It's one thing, oh man, I didn't get it. Oh, I really wanted it. Okay, there's something else. And when you are setting goals, you want to have a few goals so that there's something else you're reaching for. You know, you finish one goal, you're on to the next goal, you're on to the next goal, and it keeps you going, it keeps you active, it keeps you intentional. If you only have one goal, or you're going for one role and that's the only role you've been on, and then you don't get it, you're going to be devastated. But if you go on a role and you're in acting class and you're doing scenes, and you're maybe you've gotten a bunch of friends together and you're working on a short, then you've got other things you're doing. So you got to keep momentum going, not just, rely on that one part. You don't want that. That is not something that you want for yourself. Number 6, my favorite. Successful actors create their own work. They write, they produce, or collaborate on content. It could be a short, it could be a skit, it could be a reel, it could be a one-person show, it could be a cabaret. But they are creating their own work so that they can stay visible and proactive. And we will talk a lot more about that, because in the coming months, I am going to offer a community for actors who are creating their own work and need guidance and some help, because that is the space that I have lived in for the last 35 years or so. That is something that I learned quickly when I came to Los Angeles, was that it wasn't enough to just wait or try to submit for roles. Because when I first came to Los Angeles, there really weren't hardly any parts for young Latina girls. There weren't. And so I quickly said, you know what? I got to figure this out. I got to make my own work. I created my own one-woman show. I did scenes, showcases. I started doing stand-up in order to get to the front of the line, because as an actor, there are a lot of us. So your job is to try to get to the front of the line, and creating your work is one way to get to the front of the line, because you are not waiting for someone to give you an opportunity. You are creating your own opportunity. And that is what successful actors do. When I first came out here, what I would see was, when an actor got on a TV show, they were the lead in a TV show, one of the things they asked for in their contract, in addition to money, was to be able to create a project that the studio would back, or the TV network would back. Like, I worked with Estrada, who I adore. I played his sister, and he at the time was the biggest television, well, I want to say the biggest Latino star we have ever had, before J-Lo, before all these other stars that we see today. He was it. And what was in his contract was that he got to do so many movies of the week. So I got to work on one of those movies of the week with him, where I played his sister. The movie of the week was called Honey Boy. And I would see that leading actors in television shows were given that as part of their deal, thus creating your own work. Now, today is different than what it was back then, because you didn't have the money, you didn't have the resources to pretty much make your own stuff. You had to rely on the network or the studio to finance your stuff. I worked with Robert Townsend with Hollywood Shuffle, and that was the first time somebody, an actor of that caliber, figured it out. And he did Hollywood Shuffle. He saved his money. He put what he didn't have money for on credit cards, and he made that movie. It took him 2.5 years to get it done, but he accomplished it. As today, it is different, because you have access to cell phones, and you can actually make your own short project just using your cell phones. There, you have so many more options today. It is not the crazy cost it was back in the day. You know, you could get some film students, and go and make a short. You know, hire some film students to run the camera and to light it, and bring in the sound, and you got a short. So you have a lot more available to you today. So there is no excuse why you can't be working on your own projects. Number 7, successful actors build strategic relationships. They're not just networking, they are nurturing those relationships. Uh, it's important to know that success leaves a trail of authentic relationships with industry people like casting directors, agents, producers, other actors. So, this business, you should look at it like it is a community of artists, and you belong in that community. And these people are your friends, they're your work peers. You are, you know, they may not be your best friends, but if they're people you care about, you write down their birthdays and important days and send them cards and wish them well. That, because it's a small community, and I think sometimes actors don't realize it. This is a small community. So as you get to meet people, start to create a relationship with them. You know, check in on them periodically. Hey, how you doing? If you see something about them in the trades, congratulate them. Something good, congratulate them. If you see something bad, you know, send them a letter of support saying, hey, I'm cheering you on. I know you're going to get through this. But you're building relationships. So networking is the first step to network. But then it is about building relationships. Number 8, successful actors have a system. They track auditions, they prep their roles methodically, they review their performances with intention, not like they hated me. They go, okay, how can I make this better? Okay, I did this. Something, again, going back to Roy, I've studied with a lot of teachers, but Roy was the one who was most influential in my life. And hopefully you have an acting teacher who becomes very influential in your life. And one of the things that Roy taught us was how to be able to discern when you are on in a scene, meaning when you hit those beats, when you bring hot choices and you know that you are doing your job, and when you miss the mark. So one of the things he would always say to us right after our performance, or our work in class, he would go, where were you on? And then you would say, okay, I felt like I was on when I was at the door and I was telling them I'm out of here. Where were you off? I felt I was off not being authentic, not making a hot choice, not present with the other actor when I was sitting in the chair. Great. And then so you start to learn where you deliver the goods and where you fell short. And all actors go through that. That is why coaching is so important. But once you are on set, you have to know that for yourself, because especially if you're on a TV show and you are not the lead, and maybe even when you are the lead, the director is looking to move the entire piece forward. They can't just stop and say, okay, Lydia, let's do it again, but this time I want you to do this and that. They're trying to move all of this stuff together. And sometimes you get directors that are more technical than creative, so they're not going to get in your Kool-Aid about, make a hotter choice here. They just want to get it done. They want to come in under budget. So it is your job as the actor to know where you knock it out the ballpark and where you stunk, and then make the changes if they give you the opportunity to do another take. So you want to have that system. You want to be able to treat your career like a business, do what it is that you need to do, and do it with joy and with graciousness and kindness towards your other actors. Um, Number 9, successful actors know their why. They know why they are acting. They have purpose, and that purpose fuels their consistency. They have a clear reason why they act, and it keeps them steady in stormy seasons. Can I say that again? You, as an actor, have to know your why, because that why will keep you steady in stormy seasons. When I was doing stand up on the regular, especially the first 2 years, I would say the first 2 years, I wanted to quit every other night. It was hit and miss. Sometimes I would get on stage, I would kill, and then sometimes I would get on stage and I just stunk up the room. And on those days where I stunk up the room, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not gonna do this anymore. I would go home, I would cry myself to sleep. Then the next morning I'd be like, okay, all right, let me work on it. And those are rocky moments, and you gotta get past it. You gotta keep going, and the thing that keeps you going is knowing why you're doing it. I've known a lot of people who were in acting classes with me. Maybe they were in projects with me that I was a part of, and they quit. They just quit. I don't want to do this anymore because it's too hard. Well, everything can be too hard. But if you know your why, you will continue even when it is hard. You will continue even when it's hard because you love it and you gotta do it. In the Bible it says, we fall down, but we get up. You may fall, but you keep getting up. Little babies, they will fall a lot of times, but they keep getting up. They keep trying. They keep not trying. They keep going and practicing until they get it right. And that is your job. Keep going, keep practicing till you get it right. And guess what? You will always be practicing, because right when you feel confident and you go, "Ooh, I nailed this," then you get stretched to do it a little bit different. So then you got to come back again. You got to do it again. So know your why. That will help you be a successful actor. The last thing that shows an actor, that separates an actor from sabotage to being successful, is that they invest in themselves. They invest in mentorship. They invest in therapy if they need it. And it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It just means that you require some emotional coaching. You require to get past and unravel a trauma that happened in your life. So therapy isn't a bad thing if you are working to correct it and not make it a crutch for yourself. Coaching. Successful actors invest in coaching. They are always getting coached so they can be at their A-level game. Kobe Bryant worked out every single day. The best athletes work out all the time. And the best actors work out all the time. They are doing something. They have a team of people who are helping them. Successful actors also invest in proper tools, meaning they are investing in not okay headshots, but great headshots. So when they are having a headshot shoot, they have hired a stylist. They have hired a hair and makeup person. They have someone who is helping with whatever it is that they're looking, the look they're looking to get. They hired a photographer who's going to pull it all together. So you want to be that actor who is successful. You want to be that actor who is winning. That means you got to let go of all those bad habits and things that keep you from moving forward. You want to be the successful actor that you are constantly training. You have branded yourself professionally. You show up on time. You know your type and you know your range. And you are trying to be the best carrot you can be, or the best Brussels sprout you can be, or the best potato you can be, because once you know what it is that you sell, people will come looking to get it all the time. Number five, you want to be resilient through rejection. Number six, you have figured out how to create your own work. Think of Issa Rae. She did Awkward Black Girl, which turned into Insecure. And the list goes on and on. Robert Townsend created Hollywood Shuffle, which gave him a huge global platform. And he was able to move on and do the Five Heartbeats and Meteor Man, and the list goes on and on. So you want to be able to start thinking about creating your own work to showcase yourself. Successful actors, number seven, they build strategic relationships in the business. So it's not just networking, but it's let me say something about networking. You go to events. Hey, how you doing? My name is Lydia, Nicole. Good to meet you. And so that's networking, right? You're going in. But relationships is, hey, how you doing, Freddie? Oh my God, I haven't seen you in forever. Let's go. Let's have lunch together. I'd love to take you to dinner. I'd love to take you to breakfast. Let's go have coffee. I am now starting to have a relationship, or continuing to have a relationship with this person. It's really important. This business is about who you know. So you have to get out there and meet people and connect with them and nurture the relationships and keep it going, and think it is not about you, it is about them. And when they feel that you are somebody who is trustworthy, your work is good, all of that, then they become your big fan. Okay? Number eight, you got to have a system. You got to have a way that you track your auditions, that you keep everything in one place, that you have a system for your acting. You have a system for how you review your performances. Maybe it's with your coach, but you have set up a system for your craft and for your career and for your relationships. Number nine, you know your why. As a successful actor, you gotta know your why. And number 10, you gotta invest in yourself. Being an actor is expensive. It costs money to be an actor, especially in the beginning, because you are being asked to get professional headshots. You're being asked to have a certain kind of wardrobe. You're being asked to have all these subscriptions to IMDb Pro and casting site. You're being asked to be able to do self tapes, and that requires that you have proper equipment and lighting, and you have a space to use it. And if you don't have a space and you got to get a self tape, then you got to go pay somebody. So, and then once, God willing, you move up, and now it's time to join the union. That's a big chunk of money. So you got to be able to invest in yourself. You got to be able to have money coming in from other work to be able to support yourself as an actor until the big break happens. And if you're always worrying about money, if you're always freaking out about money, if you're living, couch surfing, that isn't it doesn't help your spirit. I mean, it's okay to do that for a few weeks, but and not for years, and I've seen actors do that for years, where they don't take care of themselves. They are expecting other people to take care of them, so they're not investing in themselves. They want everybody else to invest in them. Or you have men or women who find someone who, a love partner who will put up with their stuff until it's time for the next one to take care of them financially. And you don't want that. You want to be able to uh, have the money to invest in yourself and take care of yourself. So I am so glad that we got to have this little time together. I know that you are a superstar. You know that you are a superstar, and I want you to win. And some of the stuff that I just talked about could really help you um, by getting the Acting Smarter Now planner, which is this book that I put together to help actors organize themselves, to stay motivated, to be intentional, to have target lists. And so I have it in a book form, and I also have it as a digital. And it's more than a planner. It really is a playbook. And it just gives you a lot of stuff to help you in your career and in your craft. So I have a lot of cheat sheets in here. I got all kinds of goodies in here to help you, the actor, because I know what it is. I know what it takes to be a working actor. I've been a working actor for a long time, and the last few years I've been in producing and being on the other side. So I really understand the mindset of an actor. I'm getting ready to get back into it shortly, bringing my one woman show back out. And so everything that I'm sharing with you, I have experienced it. I know it firsthand. I know what it is to struggle, to try to make ends meet. I know what it is to have other jobs in order to be able to support myself as an actor. And I know what it is to be making a living as an actor full time. So I know all of that. And I know very well what it is to create your own work, to showcase yourself. And there is nothing like it. That's all I got for you today. Please check out my channel, check out my channel. What is my channel? Yeah, check out my channel, Lydia Nicole Live on YouTube. I got so much stuff to share with you. Great interviews from industry people. This season of our podcast, Acting Smarter Now, have been mostly mini master classes with industry people, and these mini master classes are phenomenal. So there's no excuse that you can't be learning, because I've got at least 500 videos. I have over almost 900 videos up, but I have at least 500 videos that can help you, the actor, and you don't have to pay anything except maybe buy me a coffee. if you feel inclined, you can buy me a coffee, okay? All right. Well, that's what I got for you. God bless you. Go be the superstar you are and win. Win by being successful, okay?